Greetings. There's nobody here yet. So, down here in New Albany, Mississippi tonight. I had nothing better to do. Watching guys put a roof on a building. Been out playing with my drone lately. Hopefully get some pretty good film here soon of that. So you're watching people out there. We're over here in New Albany tonight. I don't know if I can actually flip it. Let's see what happens. There we are. Dirty windshield and all, but we're here in New Albany, Mississippi tonight. At the Regal. So, yep. I'll be here a whole bunch and then I won't be here at all. So, got just kind of an open forum tonight. And it's Sunday night. See if anybody shows up. Nobody showed up. But I talk to myself quite a bit. So, hopefully everybody had a pretty good weekend so far. Doing some videos here lately about trying to get back more into the business side of stuff. Guys have been talking about the industry and pay and things of that nature, so trying to get some more stuff done on that. And the car stuff's kind of slowing down because, well, winter's coming and I just don't have time. And there's two different groups that watch my stuff, and I think the trucking side is definitely the bigger group. I do like doing the automotive stuff, but it doesn't really commute, really. So this is what I'm doing tonight. Try to see what other people are doing tonight. I got to get better at this live thing. I was working on a video about trucker pay, and that's been a real hot topic lately. And it seems to be all over the board. So just when you think you got a clear answer, it gets clear as mud. So that's something I've been working on for a while now. Doing one on the industry, and that's been interesting. I had some really good points brought up on a couple other videos I watched about trucking. So they brought up some real good points, and I was like, that's something that probably needs to be expounded on. So yeah, I've been working on a video for that. Hoping to get some drone footage in here soon. I got my drone out with me, and it's been temperamental. I've had to make the camera static, so it gets a little weird. It's a pawn shop special, but it's a good drone, and it takes some decent videos. So I've been experimenting with that lately. Just throw something in a little different. I know a couple other trucking YouTubers are doing it now, and it really makes it really lends for some neat video and some neat content too. So there's that. So it's kind of an open forum tonight. If there's anything anybody wants to talk about, bring it up. I'll talk about just about anything. I've been doing a bunch of truck stops on, or trucking videos on truck stops. And those have been kind of interesting. I'm kind of getting into the history of some of these older ones. Like I don't have enough caffeine. So I've been really getting into old 76s. If I was out further west, I would do a lot more with the Burns brothers. Those are kind of neat. Where's my favorite hamburger spot? Commercially, I'm not gonna lie. The only reason I used to go out west was so I could get an In-N-Out burger. But you got some independents around that make some pretty good ones too. Like I know there in Wichita, we got one named Calvin's that's pretty good from what I hear. I've never made it over there, which is odd. But we used to have a place in town called Waltz, and they were a bar and grill. They were a bar or a bar and grill, or just a grill, depending on which Waltz you went to. And they'd give you an old fashioned, which was mustard pickle onion, and it was just always perfectly done. There's a lot in Wichita, but you got to look for it. It's on the surface, it's a pretty dull place, but if you know where to look, there's some neat stuff. Lots of history there. There's lots of things that started in Wichita that are gone, like Pizza Hut and White Castle started in Wichita. That's where Beechcraft and Cessna are both from. They had just a huge air museum. Well, they used to have a huge air museum there. There's just lots of natural history and stuff. But it's you really got to kind of look for it. It's Wichita says they want to be a tourist attraction, and then they build a flyover to where you don't have to stop in town anymore. So they have become their own worst enemy. They got a railroad museum there, which is kind of neat, but it's not that big. I love trains and stuff of that nature. I got to get down to Oklahoma City next time I'm home, and I'm hoping to see some stuff down there. Oklahoma City's got some neat stuff too. Truthfully, in Kansas, most of the really neat stuff is in the small towns. It seems like some of these towns have their own history museum, and Caldwell has a phenomenal one. Lynchburg does. Abilene, and that's also where the Eisenhower Museum and the library is. I guess Marquette has a world-class motorcycle museum, and Hutchinson has the Cosmosphere, which is actually second to the Smithsonian in space stuff. So it's just Kansas is weird like that. Nothing's in the big cities, but these small towns have phenomenal things. So. But I'm down here in New Albany, Mississippi tonight, and there's not a whole lot to do here except sit in this dirt parking lot. So I was going to go to another truck stop, but there really was no point, and it was late enough to where I knew I probably wouldn't find a spot to park. So I just decided to camp out here. I can't pick up about 15-20 miles away tomorrow morning, so, and that goes up to Wisconsin, and it's getting cold up there. I think tonight it's supposed to be like 28 degrees up there, so it's coming. So we got a couple little projects at the house I'm going to do when I get home. Nothing serious, but I'm going to show you how much my free trailer cost me. And just some things to do here on the truck and whatnot. Nothing serious. I would like to doll it up a little bit, but it's these plastic trucks. They don't make a lot of stuff for trucks anymore. All the stuff they still make is all throwback. I can buy stuff for this, but it's kind of tedious. I'd like to put some lights on it and kind of just doll it up a little bit to make it, you know, mine. But I haven't really had the opportunity to. So, just been more interested in driving it, really. I've been trying, like I said, with some of the videos I've been doing lately, I've been trying to get into more of the history of the truck stops. I prefer to do that and kind of get away from, you know, anything business related or political or anything like that. Just have some fun with it. And I really do enjoy the history of it. So that makes it nice. But so, like I said, I've been getting into old 76s lately, and those were kind of the place to be back in the 90s. When I started driving, the TA had just acquired them, and so they were still around, but they weren't around long. So I do enjoy the history of them, though. The 76, you know, was bought by Pure, and then they all sold out to National, and then National sold it all to TA, and TA went on a buying spree. If I remember correctly, they bought the Burns Brothers, they bought Rip Griffins, they bought 76. There was another one, but well, hey, how you been? I haven't seen you pop up in a while. Hopefully you're doing all right. Yeah, that guy that just popped up, he's one of the earliest guys on. He's been following me from almost the beginning, so all right. You know, everybody concentrates on that, how much stuff the TA bought, but you know, the Pilot bought a bunch of chains too, and the Pilot's gone into partnership with a lot of different chains like Speedway and Wilco and all those. They bought a bunch of chains, and the Flying J bought a bunch of chains. So the Loves never really bought chains. They bought out a bunch of independents, but not so much chains. I think they just prefer to build new stores. But it's been interesting, just kind of doing the history and following up on them. It just, everybody just keeps gobbling each other. The funniest thing is, like, a lot of the old Flying J's that became Loves, if you know where to look, like you go to Des Moines, oh wow, whoops. Oh, we're trying to figure out that. Yeah. I know a lot of guys that haul the RVs, and they've done pretty well. Sold your big truck. Well, that's a big step. When I sold my pink one, I was going to, there was about a 2 or 3 week period where I even considered just not going back. All my bills were paid. But I just couldn't, there just isn't anything at the house that pays like this, and everybody's got to eat, so, you know. And where I live in Kansas, I guess if I wanted to make some real money, I'd have, other than doing this, I'd have to move, and I just didn't want to do that. So Oh yeah, I got off the road for about a year and built airplanes again because I thought I wanted to be home, and all I did was stare out the window, wishing I was somewhere else. And finally, I just decided I just needed to be. I wasn't ready to give it up. You get to this magical point in your career, and usually it's 4 or 5 years in, when you're at that age to where you need to decide, you know, is this, you going to get all the way in it, or you going to get all the way out of it? And it's of course, now at my age, and I don't know how old you are, it's kind of all anybody's going to hire us to do now. But I do like it. I still like it. There's a lot of stuff that I miss, but it's just the way of the world. I've been, like I said, I get home, I spend 5-6 days at home, and then I'm ready to come back out. And that's kind of the reason I spent so much time at home, is because you need time. I spent so many years being out 3.5, 4 weeks at a time to be home for 2.5, 3 days just to leave again. And man, that ain't no life. So that's why I do this now, and I've just about got everything paid for. And I mean, the truck's paid for. I've still owe I still owe a bit on the house, and like most people. And I'm just kind of in a holding pattern, kind of debating maybe this spring, depending on what goes on here this next winter, probably going to look for another truck. The Kenworth is a good truck. It's just me and this truck are not bonding. It does everything it's supposed to do. It's been great, honestly, up to this point. But it's just, you just have that feeling. You just don't feel comfortable in it. And I mean, I've never been in a truck with so much unusable space. I mean, so it's just weird. But I'm thinking about maybe going back to a Peterbilt, a 579. I really do like those. I would love a hood, but all the hoods you can find now, they're all 280-inch wheelbase, and for a lot of the places that I go, especially in some of these old neighborhoods and whatnot, that's just too long. For the most part, it would be okay, but like, you ever try to back in between two trucks at Cisco and Memphis, it's just not happening with the 280-inch wheelbase truck. So it's just one of those things. When I was looking at them, the guy said, "Oh yeah, we can send it in, and for 10 grand we can have it shortened." And I was like, I'm gonna spend that kind of money to buy a truck just to spend 10 grand more to have it shortened. I was like, that's just ignorant. Have 20 inches taken out of it. My 386, the one I sold, was a 260-inch wheelbase. So, and but that had the setback front axle, and it turned pretty well. But the one thing about this truck here is this truck will back up on a dime. This truck has got a very short wheelbase, and she'll turn, which is actually it gets a little rough on the tires. The wheelbase is too short, so the tires will tend to wear out on the insides and they drag a little bit, but it is what it is. That dude's been in and out. Oh, Red Gold. Yeah, I've delivered there. They got a big place in Ellenwood, Indiana, I believe. But sorry. So, any topic tonight, it's just kind of an open forum. we've been, like I said, I've been doing some videos on, I did one on the industry and pay. I was watching, like I said, I was watching another YouTuber, and he brought up some real valid questions and valid points, and I was like, I can actually expound on that because it, no, but I've had to wake people up because they were parked in the wrong place. I'm very careful about where I park now, just because the way people are now, it's people are just brutal anymore. There's no courtesy, there's no kindness, there's no accommodation. It's just half of these people, it's their fault, and they blame it on you. So I've been told to move before, not in a long time though. Like, I was told I could park somewhere and then come back, and they said, no, you can't park. And I was like, well, I was told I could. And that right there is like why I won't deliver to the AWG in South Haven, Mississippi, or Hernando for that matter. They refuse to let you park anywhere around there. There's no parking everywhere. You'll get a ticket. They want you to come check in. They want you there at all hours of the night. And then you have to go find some place to park. And the nearest place to park is 15, 20, 25 minutes away. And when they call you to the door, you got 15 minutes. And, Affiliated was nice, but when AWG bought Affiliated, I mean, they made it even worse. I know I was in Norfolk, and Affiliated used to they'll let you stage still, but they won't let you stage till a certain time. But they have this huge staging lane, and basically once you're empty, you've got the middle finger, and they tell you to get off the property. That's just the way they are. So yeah, and then it's 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and you got to go find a place to park. And driving around at 2 in the morning trying to find parking is no fun. So I do like these. So there's a lot that I won't do anymore. Or there's not a lot I won't do anymore when it comes to loads, but there's only about 3 that I just won't do, and it was those 2 AWG warehouses. It's just such an ugly company. And I don't do the Twin Cities anymore if I don't have to. If they won't let you park on the property, I don't do the Twin Cities. It is so difficult to find parking around there. We do a little bit out of St. Paul, and I used to haul rice up there. And I finally had to explain to the dispatcher, it's not the load pays great. I said it's the fact that there's no place to park. E-Log has made this very hard. The last time I had to go to the Twin Cities, parking was so bad, I actually had to park in Rochester, right off I-90, or south of Rochester on I-90. And then get up at 3 in the morning and drive up there to deliver at 6. And they won't let you on the property now. They're at the Cisco there. They put up a fence, so you got to sit there in the street and hope that the cops don't come by and tell you to move. If they tell you to move, you just got to sit there and do laps until you can get in. So it's a clown show. So I mean, and then you got to start your clock. And so by the time you get empty, your clock's just sprung. I mean, you got enough time to go get something and go park, but I mean, it just costs you all sorts of money. And like I've said before, we're out here to make money. We're not out here to be benevolent or altruistic or anything of that nature. We're out here to make money. And when some of these loads sit there and they cost you money, I had the weirdest load happen a while back. There was two loads. One was going to load the next day. I would have had to sit, but it was 20 miles away. But and the pay was a little weak, but it wasn't bad. The other one was 300 miles away, but it was going in the same direction I needed to go, and it was loaded. And I delivered it the following day. Then I did the math, and the one with the deadhead, I actually made more money than the one that was 20 miles away. It was a weird deal. So sometimes weird things work out. But yeah, I ended up deadheading from Indianapolis to about 25 miles east of the Quad Cities to go pick up, and just basically straight up 74. And it was weird, but it worked. I mean, the math worked. So yeah, I couldn't beat that. And if I remember correctly, I picked up a load there. No, wait a minute, that's where I picked up that load. And then, yeah, okay, and that load put me within 40 miles of where I was going to deliver the other load anyways. So it's all about the money. I sound horrible saying that, but at the end of the day, it is all about the money. You know what you need to make out here, and you know what you need per day. Sitting there, was talking about pay packages on for drivers, and you start looking into that, and it's shocking how many different pay packages there are. But what I'm starting to find out, I live outside of Wichita. I was sitting there looking through some of these pay packages and realizing that they all benefit the company. So let's just get that out of the way. But the way the pay packages are structured is, it's like not one is not better than the other. It's like when you put everything together, they all kind of, you're still all kind of at the same rate regardless of which package you got. It's almost like it was a big con game or a big shell game with it. It was a weird deal. And one of the guys was talking about and I'm bringing this up in a video that I'm doing right now about a pay package that the company offered for lease drivers. One was a set rate per mile with the surcharge, and the other one was a set rate per mile, same set rate, but for fuel you only pay 99 cents a gallon. Well, I got out there and I did the math and realized that that 99 cents a gallon with what the fuel surcharge is paying, they're actually getting money back, and you're paying 99 cents when you shouldn't be paying anything. I talk about the formula, which basically for the formula for the fuel surcharge is basically the price minus $1.35 divided by 6, and that's pretty much what it is. Well, we did the math and realized that with what the surcharge is going right now, if you were to do your fuel with the surcharge per mile at 6 miles a gallon, it's basically you'd be paying 10 cents a gallon if you lived off the surcharge and didn't touch your base pay. And when fuel got up to $5-6 a gallon, I didn't touch my base pay for like 8-9 months. It was unreal. We were getting that much in surcharge. I had some loads to where the surcharge was higher than the base pay. So it's unreal what people are getting for fuel right now. And then you throw your discounts in, like what was it, a year and a half ago when fuel got up to, what was the last? It was last winter. Fuel was up to $5.25 a gallon, but I sat there and looked at my discounts, and they were knocking like $1.80 off. It was unreal. So I was still paying what, three and a quarter a gallon, and they were knocking almost $2 a gallon off. So this is why I tell people to watch their business, because this kind of thing happens. Unfortunately, there's just so much we don't have control over out here, and so that's why you have to be real careful with what you're doing. But the discounts are real, and what did I figure that out? That guy paying 99 cents a gallon, he was paying 16.5, and then I do this on the video that's going to be coming out. He's paying 16.5 cents a mile is what it was coming out to. So we figured it out at 10, but then I factored in the discount on his fuel card, knocking 80 cents off that, and realizing that he's paying a flat rate of 99 cents per gallon, and the company's taking all of that surcharge and pocketing it. So he's not getting any of that surcharge. He's just paying 99 cents a gallon out of his base pay, and that's not good. This is why math is important, and understanding your industry and your business. And I've said this before, and I'll say this till the dawn of time, or till the end of time. What got me started on this whole journey with the YouTube and the trucking and all that was I was a trainer, and I got so tired. I know people are probably tired of hearing this story, but I got so tired of watching brand new guys get completely screwed by companies. And it wasn't the driver's fault, it was the company's fault. The company took advantage of the ignorance of these kids. And my whole deal was, let's get these kids at least a little smart. That way when they go into this, they're not blindsided. I saw so much talent run out of the business, and I saw so many of these kids blindsided. I mean, if anybody's been watching me for a while, I despise truck leasing. Some guys make it work, but some guys make it work. But the core of it, from what I see a lot of these big companies doing, is they get these guys in. Like I had a guy parked next to me today, in fact. Get these guys in, brand new off the street, convince them that they can be an owner-operator, lease them a company truck, starve them out, and then force them to train to make more money. Oh, and by the way, you have to pay the trainer out of your pay. So they're forcing these kids to basically run a team, and in a truck that they're leasing to make a living, and then they got to pay the guy out of their base pay. It's the worst deal ever. I had a student at my last job that was and he was a heck of a driver, and sadly he passed away. He had a heart attack. It was sad. He was 32 years old and had some kind of genetic thing, and had a heart attack and died. His name was Jemias Richardson. He was probably one of the most honestly talented truck drivers I've ever seen. The dude was just magic behind the wheel. And he had leased a truck to do, he lived in Gary, Indiana. He had a wife and 3 kids, and he had leased a truck to make a little extra money. He was doing Walmart all around the Chicagoland, and Walmart DCs and deliveries and all that. Well, they wanted him to train, and he said no. He says, I'm leasing this truck. He said, I'm not going to put a trainer. And he said, then all of a sudden his paychecks dropped off. He's making like $86 a week. He did that for 3 weeks, and he says, I can't feed my family on $86 a week. So he just quit and turned the truck in and went to work for, where I was working at the time. And they put him in the truck with me for a week, and I remember looking at him going, you don't need to be here. But he didn't. The dude, like I said, the dude was just pure magic behind the wheel. He was just an incredible incredible truck driver. And it was heartbreaking when he passed. I've still got him on my Messenger and on my Facebook, and so yeah, he was a good friend. But yeah, like I said, I got real tired of watching a lot of talent get run out of the industry because you really are. It's like those trucks that say on the back, you know, when you come work for us, where you're a name, not a number, and the first thing they do is give you a truck number. That's how you're known. So, yeah, it's just the way of the world. I mean, we're all numbers, and there's no reason to be bitter about it. It's just the way the world works. But truck driving has become completely impersonal, and you know, that's a good thing and a bad thing. But now I'm starting to rant. I thought about doing a video for Halloween, conspiracy theories and stuff like that, and telling a whole long story, but I don't know if I'll do that or not. I've been working. I love conspiracy theories. Me and another trucker will sit there and talk about them for hours. You know, was the moon landing faked? Watergate, the JFK thing, just all sorts of things of that nature. We get a kick out of all of it. And the one I was going to tell, I've actually, it sounds ridiculous. I actually connected the JFK to Watergate. It's so idiotic that it's plausible as well. We have fun with stuff like that. And then suddenly my live feed goes dead and nobody ever hears from me again. Whoop! No. So, I was talking to Red today, and we've been working on trying to get this thing to where I can do. It's got this camera, but for some reason I cannot get it to work. It's like there's something wrong in the software or something like that. So I have to make it static, which sucks. I get some great video, but it doesn't level itself like it's supposed to. And so I get some good video. The video is either excellent, on point, or it's complete garbage. There's no in between on this. So I've been having fun with it. And I was going to take it out tonight, but it got windy. So with that, yeah. I am always looking for topics. Now, they can't be anything too extravagant or expensive, just because my nose itches. Just because, like I said before, I don't get paid for any of this, and you know, there's a lot of stuff I want to do would take a lot of money. But there are things that I know people are interested and want to know about, and things of that nature. So I'm always looking for ideas. Like I said, I do like the history. Now, I do watch, there's a guy on here called Trucking Resources. I actually met him and Albert Lee. He's a flatbedder, and he does a lot of historical stuff. And I enjoy watching him. He does a lot of news stuff too, like a lot of trucking news. He'll do little blurbs here and there. But he got on a bender a while back with doing all sorts of neat historical stuff. It was pretty interesting stuff. So that was kind of neat. And then, you know, I watch the people that got me into the drone footage was that husband and wife team, Trucking Together. They really do a lot of neat footage. you know, it's just with them, it's just their day, and it's more of a vlog style than anything. But when they put the drone up and actually got it filming them backing into doors and stuff like that, I find that stuff real interesting. It's just neat. And then of course there's this guy Trucks, and he's like a squirrel on methamphetamine half the time. He gets pretty wound up, but he does make a point. It might take 10 or 15 minutes to get there, but he always does kind of bring it all back together at the end. So I enjoy watching him. He's about as real as you can get. But then with like the automotive stuff, I watched a bunch of the Wichita YouTubers. For some reason, Wichita is an automotive mecca for YouTubers. And I've seen some of them in person and whatnot, and they're interesting guys. I watch them, and I'm a big Vice Grip Garage fan, and the Goon Squad. Those two boys are just absolutely talented. So I do watch them quite a bit. But you know, being out here on the road like tonight, and I get some time to sit back, relax, and watch a few videos here and there. Of course, lately all I do is watch reruns of Barney Miller because I'm that old. So, the old gal, she's been walking out in the parking lot back and forth. I think she's checking. You got to pay to park here, and this is one of the few places I don't mind to pay to park, mainly because these people actually spend the money in the parking lot. They hire people, they come out and they clean, the trash cans are empty, the store's always spotless, and they're constantly improving the place, and they got a lot of stuff for truck drivers here. I used to watch Gunsmoke. My dad was a huge cowboy fan. My dad grew up in the 40s and 50s, and he was part of the silent generation, and he'd watch Gunsmoke and the Rifleman. Of course, the kid on the Rifleman, man, I don't know how Chuck Connors didn't end up losing that kid out in the desert somewhere, because that kid was constantly getting into trouble. Yeah. But yeah, I grew up watching all those old black and white shows. So I do like Gunsmoke on the radio too. It's kind of funny though. William Conrad's got a great radio voice, but he's got a face for radio. That's a homely dude, man. Yeah, he don't look like James Arness. I'll tell you that right now. But I do. That's a weird thing. Is I grew up listening to old time radio with my grandfather. Lots of old radio shows from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and you can still listen to a lot of them on YouTube. So I'll hook my phone up to my stereo and go down the road and listen to old episodes of Dragnet and yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and George Burns, Gracie Allen, the Jack Benny Show. The Damon Runyon Theater is probably one of my favorites from those eras, and those are from the 40s and 50s, and they're a lot of fun. But I don't, everything I watch is on my phone now, so you can't do that going down the road. I don't have a TV in the truck anymore. I keep thinking I'm going to get one that I can simulcast my phone to, but then, yeah. But yeah, I'm actually thinking about taking some time and trying to do some audio to learn how to speak another language. Why not? All I do is sit around all day, so I might as well just repeat everything I hear going down the road. And there's a lot of good tools for that. So, learning another language. I figure if I can learn Spanish, Italian, and all those romantic languages are all Latin-based. And so if you can learn them, if you can learn Spanish, you could probably learn 3 or 4 other languages too. So yeah. But I'm just sitting here trying to find the best use of my time, because sometimes driving down the road gets really, really boring. I've actually been staying on the taking a lot of the older highways lately instead of getting on the interstates and going through the big cities and all that. I've been taking a lot of the old U.S. highways and whatnot, getting where I'm going, and it's been really relaxing. And of course, you get down south here, a lot of these U.S. highways are actually 4-lane. I mean, yeah, they go through towns and stuff, but you make really good time. The speed's a little slower than the interstate, and it's a lot more relaxing. I've got to go pick up 15 minutes from here, and I'm going to take US 45 all the way up to Paducah. And then I got to get on 24 over to 57 and up, and then I'll take that up to, I got to go up to Wisconsin. But that stretch from basically 24 and 57 all the way up to Mount Vernon is usually pretty stressful. I don't know what it is about that stretch, but people drive like nuts on that. Like they're just crazy. So I've seen all sorts of insanity on that. I'm surprised I haven't seen more wrecks, honestly. So, but yeah, I mean, I've been trying to find ways to keep myself occupied out here and keep the stress level down. I don't get angry like I used to anymore. I really don't get angry about much of anything anymore. I do get a little irritated and a little stressed from time to time, but it goes away pretty quick. Yeah, so this truck stop here, you'd think this truck stop this far off the interstate would be a little deader, but this is a happening place. So, oh, that was the cops. No, that was the cops. You keep going. So, yeah, this is a pretty happening place. Yeah, I like it. So we're looking at buying a project, something. I didn't know if I was going to do a video series on it or not. I decided not to buy it, but I know it's one of those things where you kick yourself for not buying it, and then you kick yourself if you do buy it. I found a vintage Volkswagen Beetle. It's a 61, and it's such a cool little car. A buddy of mine has it, and it did run when it was parked, so I actually can verify that. But the price is righteous, but I just really fearful of it becoming a lawn ornament in my yard, taking a lawn ornament from his yard and making it a lawn ornament in my yard. So kind of having a kind of time trying to figure out if this is something that's viable or not, because I've got a lot of cars, but a 61 Beetle is that's kind of a bucket list thing. I don't have bucket lists, but there are cars I like. Like the one car I'll never own, but I would love to, is probably an R32, a Nissan. I just think they're neat. You can get them in this country now. They're just really hard to find. That and a 85 Toyota Hilux with the diesel in it. That would be really kind of neat. I just like having experiences with things. I really don't have bucket lists. I've just never been that guy. I don't even name things. I don't even know how my dog got a name when I had a dog. They told me to name him, and I was just going to call him Dog. I don't name things. It's probably a good thing I never had kids. I'd be kid 1 and kid 2. Like name them Steve and Steve, Daryl. my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl. So anyhow, like I said, we're just hanging out tonight. Any question anybody has, I'm game. I ain't got nothing going on. But I would get on here for a little while and just see what's going on. I have been thinking about there are a bunch of videos that I consider doing. It's just some of them take so long and there's so much prep work to do. I've been thinking about doing a video on, becoming a YouTuber, and it's interesting that I love doing this. I actually really do. But this is a lot harder than people think. I mean, just putting actual content out and trying to do a nice job doing it is really difficult. I had a bunch of guys I know that saw me doing it, and they were like, "Oh, well, we can do it too." Well, they went and realized that this took a lot of work and a lot of commitment, and they all kind of just fell by the wayside, really. It's been tough. It's been enjoyable though, and it's been fun to watch it grow. I gave myself a 5 years, because I know this kind of thing doesn't happen overnight. And I set a goal, and believe it or not, I met it. I know at the beginning I asked people to like and subscribe and all that, but I don't do that anymore. I do that on the trailer, and I just feel weird asking people to do that. So I figure if people are going to do it, they'll do it. I am looking forward, though, to having some new adventures out here and doing some different things. Red and I were talking about doing some day trips at the house and like running out to see Big Brutus, or running down to Tulsa, see if we can be on an episode of the First 48, or up to the Cosmosphere or something like that. But we just haven't been able to get the schedule put together, had time to do it. She works full time, and I work a lot too, and then getting our schedules to meet, and then come the weekends, it's just, if I'm home, it's usually a difficult time just to get anything done. And truthfully, I do a lot of cooking on the weekends. If I wasn't YouTubing for trucking, I'd probably be YouTubing for cooking. I love to cook. It's like one of 4 things in this world I'm good at. I wish these guys would sponsor me, that way I could find this stuff. It's not Yellow Jackets, but hey, it doesn't even keep me awake, honestly. But so anyhow, I'm gonna start wrapping this up here in a bit. I just wanted to come out tonight and do a little bit of a live and see where everybody was. And like I said, I'm out here at the Regal tonight. I can flip it around and, oh, come on now. That's what I'm doing tonight. So just sitting here. So I know this isn't TikTok. I could sit here and just stare out the window and yell at the phone, but I don't want to. So I used to do the TikTok lives and all that, and then I got kicked off a live because the algorithm thought I said something that I didn't say. But well, whatever. Social media, it's a hoot. So other than that, I mean, like I said, we've been just working, putting out videos. I'm gonna probably tomorrow morning thinking about doing a video from my customer to another cooking video. I enjoy doing the cooking videos, but most of my buddies say they like watching them because I tend to drink a little when I do it because I'm home. And I had one, I think that one where I made baklava. That was a horrible video. It was just 25 minutes of me getting tanked. I don't even know if you can make baklava watching. I went back and watched that video the other day, and I was like, I'm surprised I didn't get more hate for this. Don't get me wrong, the baklava was delicious, but there wasn't enough in there to really know how to do it. I did make what is that, Pepper Billy Pete or whatever that guy is on TikTok. I did make his Mississippi pot roast about a month ago, and that was incredible. And so I tried another crock pot recipe, but that he had, the gravy was good and everything was great, but there was something wrong with the meat. It was a cube steak recipe, and I'm starting to think that I got basically coarse ground hamburger instead of minute steak. That's what it. Well, we cooked it. I did it the way he wanted it. I fried it all up and threw it in the crock pot like he suggested, and it fell apart like a hamburger. There was something wrong with it, so I'm gonna have to try that again. I told we're gonna go up to the Oriental Supermarket there in North Wichita. Phenomenal place. Just it's not only is it an Oriental market, it's like a Chinese restaurant supply also, and they have just all sorts of utensils and cooking equipment and dishes, and it's just phenomenal in there. Everything you want: Korean, Thai, Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, just everything's in there. Fresh fish, great meat. Beef is a little hit and miss in there, but the rest of it's great. And the last time I was up there, I bought some really good chunks of shank meat, and so I'm thinking about doing that in the crock pot next time, and maybe I'll do a video on that, me doing that and spending 20 minutes getting tanked. I don't know, I do the crock pot videos at about 7 in the morning. That may not be good. That's never stopped me before. It's my day off. If anybody who knows me knows I don't sleep worth a crap. I don't sleep. So even when I'm home, I'm up at 5:30, 6 o'clock anyways. The barbecue sauce is, I really enjoy doing that. I made a batch of that while I was home last time. We're going to use that in, we're going to make barbecue chicken with that. It's a real sweet sauce. There's no vinegar in it, so there's no vinegar or molasses. The sweetness comes from brown sugar, and it's all cooked together with the ketchup. The only vinegar, I guess, would be in the ketchup. And if you don't want to use brown sugar, you can actually make it with Splenda, believe it or not. And it actually tastes just the same, with the exception it's not brown like barbecue sauce. It's more red because the brown sugar will make the sauce brown. So we actually made the sugar free. We actually got it down to 3 grams per serving when I was making it commercially, and but we had to add caramel color to make it. It tasted wonderful, but it was too red and it wouldn't sell, so we actually had to make it darker so it would sell. And that was kind of sad. We had to do it that way, but that's just that's just the way. The caramel coloring didn't add any or take away. It didn't add any sugar or anything to it. We were trying to make a more diabetic friendly barbecue sauce. I remember my dad was asking about that because he couldn't have sugar. But usually the videos I make when I'm home are just me having fun. So I got a free trailer, and that free trailer has been very expensive, but it's been fun. So I got to wire that up when I get home. And there's a video I've been wanting to teach people how to make a wiring harness, make their own wiring harnesses. It's a lot easier than you think. Basic wiring isn't as daunting as people think. It's just tedious, and they throw computers and stuff in it, and it just makes it difficult. But I'm that nerd. I like wiring. I don't know why. I like wiring. I like schematics and things of that nature. I think that's when I went to diesel college, everything was pretty much analog. And, that we had computers back in the 90s, of course, but it wasn't all this diagnostic stuff like we have now. So everything was analog. So we learned how to do a lot of things without computers. And now the part, we were taught theory, and anymore it's like theory isn't taught. It's just, I remember watching a guy on YouTube talking about he hated carburetors, and I remember thinking, I don't know why he hates carburetors. Well, he hated carburetors because he couldn't plug into it with a computer. If he couldn't fix it with a computer, he was just completely lost. And I'm like, it's a screw, man. So as soon as I get the brakes fixed on the Oldsmobile, and I get the catalytic converters plugged, as soon as I get that fixed, I would really like to do some more analog style stuff. I've got some old school gauges and stuff like that at the house that for the old stuff, but I might do something like that, a little retro, but we'll have to wait and see. Well, it's been an hour, so I think I'm going to wrap it up now. I just wanted to come out and see how everybody was doing. If you like the video or you got anything you want to see, man, go ahead and just leave a comment. I appreciate it. I'm always interested in different ideas and what people think and whatnot. Now, if you leave profanity, I don't get those messages because the YouTube algorithm will hold them for review. So it's not, if I don't, if you have a profanity in your message, it's not that I'm ignoring it, it's that I didn't see it. So I have to go back and look. If you have profanity, I don't care. I don't get bent out of shape over much anything anymore. I had one guy was talking about some of these YouTubers, they get a little thin-skinned with the comments and the hate and the criticism and all that. I knew that coming into this, I was going to have some pretty thick skin. And truthfully, my very first hater comment, I actually still have it saved. I'm going to blow it up and hang it on my wall because every time I look at it, it makes me laugh. When people hate you, you're doing something. And sometimes you just have to have a good laugh at it. So I appreciate it, guys. You guys be safe out there, and we'll see y'all later.